Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Every Day is Friday, the show where we dive into the stories and experiences from people from all walks of life. Today, we have Chris Otto, who is a men's coach who helps guys become their strongest and best selves in their mind, their body, and their souls. Chris works hard to help men reach their full potential and live their best lives. Let's dive in. Chris, how you doing?
Doing fantastic, man. Good to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, my pleasure. For the listeners who may not be familiar with your line of work yet, could you give us a quick rundown of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm a men's coach. I help men transform themselves into the strongest, most disciplined version of themselves, mind, body, and soul. And ultimately, I help men get fit, fulfilled, fearless, and free.
No, let's get
And
started. Let's just jump right in. I mean, your
that was
journey. I
so.
mean, what inspired you to start becoming a men's coach?
Well, it kind of happened on accident because, there was a point in my life about 5 years ago where I pretty much hit rock bottom. And it was after I got arrested, broke up with my ex-girlfriend, had a serious, serious drinking problem, was addicted to a bunch of other vices, and just landed myself in a place that I knew was going to carry me down a road that was probably not either going to live much longer or have me locked up for a while. So um, once I got arrested, that was like the defining moment, that turning point in my life where I had to come to a crossroads and say, you know what, I'm either going to ignore all of these signs and these things that have been telling me that I'm off path, I'm on the wrong track, or I'm going to make a decision, a non-negotiable decision to completely transform my life. And I've been through quite a few things in my life. I've been divorced. I've been arrested before. A lot of things in my life have gone in a negative direction because of the wrong kinds of people I've surrounded myself with, alcohol, all of these things. And it was the non-negotiable decision to transform my life because all of those things that have happened in the past that I was like, I've had a punch in the gut so many times that it's it's time to make a decision to change my life. And I made that decision. And I started really honing in on becoming the best version of myself, which I'm 43 years old, and I didn't make that decision until I was about 38 years old, right? So I went 38 years just kind of coasting through life, not really having any purpose, any mission, or anything of that nature, just kind of skating by. That's how I pretty much lived my entire life. And, um, the result of where I was at that point at 38 years old was the result of my action. Everything that I'd done up until that point got me to where I was. And I didn't realize that until I was 38 years old. And most people hopefully are fortunate enough to realize that a lot earlier on in their lives. So I started working on myself, working to become the absolute best version of myself. I sat down and I really clarified who I wanted to be as a man, who I needed to be as a man. And I started aligning everything in my life with that man and what that looked like. So that meant removing bad habits from my life, removing vices from my life, all of these things that didn't align with what the best version of myself looked like. I annihilated it. I cut it out, and I made it non-negotiable to get rid of those things. And in doing that, and in fitness was a major part of that. You know, I took fitness to a level that most people would probably say is unhealthy, but for me, it was one of those things that kept me grounded. That was like my anchor, so to speak. And in that moment, that was like my purpose and my mission to become the best version of myself physically, and that translated into the mental as well. And
That's
one of the
so
things,
powerful.
yeah, and one of the things that I realized was that fitness, the gym, is probably, well, in my experience, one of the only places that you can really go to work on yourself mentally and physically simultaneously. So, removing all the things from my life that aligned with the man that I wanted to become, incongruency with, I think that's a word, incongruency with the fitness aspect of everything. That's when things started to turn around for me and completely transform. And basically what I was doing was I was pretty much documenting, um, sharing inspirational stuff on Instagram. Then I started a TikTok and, just my experiences and being able to transform my life in some capacity. I was sharing that with other people. And my whole mindset was if this can change my life in some aspect or some capacity, why not share it with other people? And then I started sharing that. And when I started removing vices from my life, I started sharing that as well. And then people started to reach out to me, ask me questions. Hey, how do you remove porn from your life? How do you remove alcohol from your life? And I was like, I can show you. So I started coaching people in the helping people remove pornography, guys who had a serious problem with it. And that's where I got my my coaching start.
Wow, that's really inspiring that you can help others like you do. I mean, what was the turning point for you in your life that led you to focusing on transformation, like transforming men's lives?
It was just the fulfillment that I got from being able to share my journey with others, right? So that kind of like I always say, don't chase your purpose. Don't try and find out what your purpose is. Your purpose, you'll attract it. It'll find you, so to speak, right? So your purpose could be becoming the best version of yourself, and in doing that, that's how helping men kind of found me, right? So I was just making videos, posting stuff online, and guys would reach out to me and ask me for help. And I was thinking to myself, I sat down one day and I was like, you know what? I think I have something here. I can start helping men, and just the simple fact of being able to reach out and help somebody was it made my day. And that's what gets me up every single day is, there's days where I'm not motivated, but just knowing that there's people out there that are counting on me is enough to get me out of the bed in the morning.
Yeah, it's amazing how moments like that can shape your entire purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell me a little bit about like a personal transformation that or challenges that you overcome?
Challenges, yeah, I've got quite a few. I mean, I was an alcoholic for a number of years. Started drinking in my teens. Had my first drink like I first got drunk when I was about 14, 15 years old. And the first time I ever got drunk, I pushed my brother off of a pier. We were fishing and we got into a fight, pushed him off a pier, and luckily he knew how to swim because if he didn't, he probably would have drowned. Um, I was addicted to pornography, addicted to tobacco. I was out of shape. So my life, I was living a life that was not indicative of who I knew I was capable of becoming. And it took hitting rock bottom for me to realize that. And because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had enough of being a loser. I had enough of being somebody who was not living up to or maxing out my potential. And in realizing that, I said, you know what? It's up to me to make a change, right? Ain't nobody coming to save this dude. The only person that's going to save me is me. So I had to step up. And the reality is that I was setting a terrible example for all the people in my life. I was setting a terrible example for my kids. My kids saw me drunk. My kids saw me living a life that, I wouldn't want my kids to live a life like that. I'd be I'd be ashamed of myself as a father if I raised kids to live like I was living, right? So now the way that I live my life is what would the best version of me do? And act as if my 6-year-old self is following me around everywhere I go, right? No matter if the door's closed, the blinds are closed, there's nobody out there watching me, but I'm still making the right decisions and choices even when nobody's watching me. That's my mindset. That's what I have to do. I have to make sure that nothing breaks my character because I have to be that example. I have to be that leader for the people that are in my life. Because if I'm not, then that's selfish of me because I'm the one who's supposed to be leading. That's that's how I see it.
That's incredible. I mean, Chris, why do you believe it's so important for men to focus on strengthening their mind, body, and soul?
It's our duty. It's our duty. Like, nobody's going to do it for us, right? People look up to us. And I always say that a lot of men might see it as a burden to be that example. A lot of men might see it as a weight on their shoulders. But I'd rather carry that burden than not. And I don't think it's a burden. I don't call it a burden, but it is a weight on your shoulders, right? And nobody really, and the reality of it is nobody really cares about our struggles as men. There's no need in complaining about it because it's honorable. That's our duty and that's our honor to go out there and be the best man that we can be for the people in our lives, because that selflessly leading and being the example by going out there and being that do it first leader. Because if you want people to be better, you got to be better. There's no use in complaining about why everybody else is not in shape, why everybody else is not spiritually grounded, why everybody else is lacking some sort of discipline or motivation. I'm going to be that guy. And if you want to follow along, great. Come and follow along, because I'm going to be the best damn example that I can be.
No, that approach makes so much sense. What's the biggest challenges you see in men facing today?
The biggest challenges that men are facing, I would say, it's multifaceted. They're facing a lot of challenges when it comes to knowing their true self, vices and addictions, masculinity. It's lacking tremendously. Leadership, just being that good example, right? Being the example for the people in their lives, their kids, their wife, their significant other, the people who they associate with. That's some of the biggest challenges right now that men are facing. And also, not asking for help. A lot of men refuse to ask for any help when they're struggling. And going and asking your partner, your significant other, your wife, your girlfriend, that's a line where it's a fine line. You got to be careful how you cross that line, or if you ever do cross that line, because you're supposed to be the problem solver. You're supposed to be the one with the solution. That's why I'm a firm believer in having a brotherhood of like-minded men, that if you are struggling, you go to your brothers, you talk with them, you confide in them, because there's certain things that you can confide in them about where they're going to help you come up with the right solution, where you can then go to your woman and say, hey, I was struggling with this, because she probably notices that you might be stressed out, or maybe you just hide it really freaking well and she doesn't notice, but hey, I was struggling with this, and this is the solution that I came up with. Or she's just going to see the solution because you already implemented that solution. That's why my best friend and I, my business partner, we came up with the Iron Mind Tribe, and we coach men together.
No, I resonate with that. That's fantastic. I mean, can you tell me like 3 top habits that every man should build to improve their life?
3 habits is get your butt in the gym, work out consistently. You should be doing something mental every single day, reading, maybe spiritual, prayer or meditation, right? Doing something first part of your day that is going to put you in a position to win the rest of your day. I call it stacking wins, right? Wake up every single morning, do something that's going to challenge you. Whether that's taking a cold shower because you need to face some fear, do fear things first. And it's not about the cold shower itself. It's about overcoming something tough, something challenging, something that when you look at that shower head and that freaking cold water is coming out of that shower head, first thing in your head is, I don't want to get in here. I don't want to do this. But you do it anyways. It's 3, 2, 1, get in. And that mindset consistently over and over and over again is going to translate into every other area of your life, right? It's going to translate into business. It's going to translate into when the snooze button or when your alarm goes off in the morning, it's going to translate into the beautiful woman that you want to go talk to, but you're too afraid. 3, 2, 1, boom, go. Right? So do something challenging first thing in the morning. Do something physical first thing in the morning. That's hitting the gym, exercising. If you can't get to a gym, do it at home. Do something that's going to elevate your mind, elevate your frequency. Reading something that not no romance novel or anything like that, but reading something that is going to benefit you, that's going to put you in a position to learn something that day, and do something spiritual. That way, you got the rest of the day. And this is cool because me and my buddy, we just did a podcast episode on this exact specific topic, morning routines and stuff like that. But that's going to set you up for the rest of the day, where you can work on the financials and all of those things. And then when you're done with that, the relationship, right? So stack all these wins first part of your morning, which you have all these accomplishments. You're boosting dopamine naturally, not unnaturally, like most guys do. They pick up their phone, they're scrolling, and that leads to them watching some Pornhub or whatever it is. And then they just wasted an hour and a half first thing in the morning, and now they don't have time for anything.
No, I agree with you on those. I mean, those habits sound like real game changers. Simple, but powerful.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is very simple. It's not easy. That's the thing. A lot of guys, they look at that and they start to formulate opinions about it. Start to say, oh, I don't have time. They start to make excuses for themselves. And you know what? And that's fine. You can make excuses for yourself, but you're just going to remain the same exact person that you are, and you're going to be there 10 years from now because you just kept on making excuses. And excuses are just the lies that we tell ourselves to negotiate or justify why we don't believe in ourselves, why we don't think that we can do it, right? Why I don't have time. That's not true. You can make time for the things that are important. Make it non-negotiable. And that's what ultimately you got to make it non-negotiable. And if it's not non-negotiable, you're always going to come up with some sort of excuse or some sort of reason on why you can't make it happen.
Can you dive into that for the listeners to know what that is?
Making something non-negotiable?
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously you're going to have certain days where something's going to come up in your day, right? So I might not have time to read tomorrow morning because something urgent comes up. But my rule of thumb is I always make sure I have enough time and enough room in my schedule for the gym. I will not miss the gym. It's non-negotiable. What that means is if I only get 3 hours of sleep, I'm still hitting the gym. I will sacrifice my sleep just so I can get up in enough time so I can still hit the gym, so I can still take my cold shower, so I can still make my bed, which is another non-negotiable. Making the bed, challenging myself with a cold shower, hitting the gym, those are all non-negotiable. Prayer, non-negotiable. Right?
Yes.
Reading every single day, that is one of those things that if I have to put that maybe at the end of my day, or I can't get to that today, then that's one of those things where I will sacrifice that. Right? But the other non-negotiables, nothing's going to stand in the way of that. And here's the thing, man. Some people might say that, oh, well, you're being selfish. I'm actually being selfless because I need to be the best version of myself so I can give that person to the people in my life, right? And if I'm not able to give that best version of myself to the people in my life, then that's selfish. I hope that makes sense.
No, yeah, you keep on stacking those small wins. And I want to talk about confidence. I mean, many men today struggle with confidence. What is one thing they can do daily to build that up?
Consistency in stacking those wins. Because just imagine this. And I'll lean back into the vices and the bad habits. So imagine having a vice that is debilitating, like it was for me, pornography. Imagine removing something like that from your life. You're consistently doing the necessary work on yourself to remove either porn or alcohol or tobacco or whatever bad habit you might have. you consistently chip that away from your life or getting in the best shape of your life, which all of these things take consistency. Would you agree?
I do agree.
Okay, so you're consistent in all of these things, or let's say one of these things. You transform your life in that area of your life. Imagine the confidence you're going to have knowing that you conquered that one thing, that you completely removed this from your life, that you're no longer a slave to it, or that you completely transformed your body physically. That's a huge accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
The confidence that because that's a huge win. And no matter what losses that you've had in the past, you just had this major win. And now you're way up here. Your energy is up here, your frequency is up here, and now you're operating from a little bit higher level of consciousness. So your confidence is up now because you just had this major win, and now you believe in yourself. Say, you know what? I'm stacking all these wins first part of my day. I completely removed a vice from my life. I got in the best shape of my life. You're on cloud nine, and that all of these things translate into every other area of your life. So you carry that confidence into everything else. The way that you speak to people, your interactions daily, the way you approach certain things, right? All of that, your confidence is going to elevate tremendously.
Yeah, just keep on stacking those small wins like we were saying. On the other aspects of things, I think men really need discipline. I mean, what is something a lot of men say that, it's something that all men really struggle with. I mean, what's the first step to becoming more disciplined?
Consistency. I mean, bottom line is you can't have discipline without consistency. And it's most people they operate off of their feeling. Like, I don't feel like going to the gym today. I don't feel like getting out of bed. I feel like sleeping in. I feel like I don't feel happy. Or regardless of how you feel. Like, there's days where I don't want to get out of the bed, but I still get out of the bed and I still go to the gym and I still take care of all my non-negotiables. I still stack wins because I know in my mind that all of these things are making me a better man every single day. See, this isn't about some short little destination that we're trying to get to. This is about the entire journey, right? Continuously. It doesn't stop. It never ends. We keep going no matter what. We keep pushing forward no matter what. And we keep doing the things that are going to make us better. A lot of people, they have this mindset, I'm going to do what makes me happy. Don't do what makes you happy. Okay. Do what makes you better. Do what makes you better every single day. And if you ever question what you should be doing, your mindset needs to be, what would the best version of myself do in this situation? And that's why you got to get clear on knowing who it is that you want to be, knowing what that best version of yourself looks like.
Yeah, I would say write them down, your goals for that. And also, it's about the journey, not the destination, but the personal development throughout the journey. For most people out there, they have to understand that first off. And your mind has to be stronger than your feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because when the motivation isn't there, which it's not going to be, it's going to be there for the first couple of weeks, right? Because you're pumped, you're amped up, just like New Year's resolutions and people going to the gym. You're all in your feelings. You're like excited and all of that. But when the motivation's gone, what's left? Discipline is what's left. And if you don't have any, then you're SOL. And if you don't have your non-negotiables, you don't know who you need to be, the man that you want to become. If you don't know any of that stuff, then you're just going to keep on making the same excuses for yourself, and you're going to keep on hitting the reset button every December. Say, okay, well, now it's my year again, right? New year, new me. And that's what most people do, unfortunately. Until some people, they hit that rock bottom, or they have that eye-opening experience where they say, you know what, enough is enough. It's time to get my crap together and change my life. And I could say all the things to the guys that I coach. I can make this beautiful motivational speech, right? But ultimately, if you're not coachable, if you're not accountable, and if you don't have a willingness to win, there's nothing that I can say that's going to help you.
No, I like that a lot. I mean, it's stacking those small wins, putting yourself in, being accountable for your life, really, at the end of the day, and your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. I mean, how can men better manage their emotions without feeling like they're appearing weak?
So that's that's a great question. So a lot of men, they're slaves to their emotions, right? They get angry and they allow that emotion to control them. And men need to learn how to control the emotion, be in control of that emotion. It's okay. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be upset, depressed, unhappy, unfulfilled. It's okay to have those feelings because you're human. You're going to experience those things, right? But it's not okay to make your decision based off of what those emotions are, based off of what you're feeling in that moment. Allow that to be there. Let yourself process what you're going through. Sit with it for a moment. Process that emotion and let it go. Right? Don't hold on to it. And most people, like when you hold, that's playing the victim. When you want to hold on to something like that. When you act out based off of what the emotion is. So sitting with it, allowing it to be there, and ultimately letting it dissipate because it's an energy. Emotion is energy. So you allow that energy to just dissipate. It's like, I don't know if you've ever been addicted to anything like tobacco or anything like that. Or maybe we'll say a slice of pizza. There ever been a time where you were like, oh man, I just want a slice of pizza so bad? You didn't,
Last
and you
night,
did,
yeah.
yeah. But let's think about this for a second. Was there a time where you wanted pizza really bad, but you never got the pizza? It was kind of in your mind, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it kind of just disappeared. That want for it, you're like, I don't even want it anymore.
It's happened.
Yeah. So ultimately, what happens is that you sit with it, you allow it to be there, you acknowledge it, and you let it go, let it dissipate, because the energy behind it will dissipate. But if you keep thinking about it, or you keep judging what happens is a lot of people, they would judge you.
Okay.
Same thing with that feeling that you get when you want something really bad. Let's say if you want a cigarette really bad, and you want to drink really bad. And what you resist persists also. So if you continue to resist it with, the thoughts and all of that, then it's going to persist. It's going to stay there. It's going to compound. Let it be there. It's okay. It's okay that it's there, and ultimately let it go.
That's such a powerful point.
Letting go is the most freeing thing if you're able to let it go.
Yeah, for Chris, for men who feel stuck in their routines, I mean, what's one way they can break free of that?
Acknowledge that you're stuck. Be brutally honest with yourself. Take a look at the man in the mirror and be honest with him. So another big challenge that a lot of men face is they lie to themselves every day. They're not honest with themselves, right? If you're a lazy slob, be honest with yourself. I'm a lazy slob, right? I do nothing productive with my day. I could be doing so much better. I spend too much time on my phone. I need to cut that out and start making a list of the things that are holding you back. Like, if you've got bad habits, get brutally honest with yourself on what those bad habits are. Don't sugarcoat it. And don't lie to yourself and say, oh, well, it's not really that bad. Yeah, it is. If you're not where you want to be, you got a lot of negative stuff in your life that you need to remove and replace those negative habits, those bad habits, with something that is going to serve your highest purpose. And that's a question you can ask yourself. Is this serving my life's highest purpose? Is drinking every weekend serving my life's highest purpose? Is hanging out with these knuckleheads serving my life's highest purpose? Is dating this toxic woman serving my life's highest purpose? We argue every single night, that kind of nonsense. If it's not serving you, get rid of it. Cut it out of your life and
It's a
start,
valuable point.
yeah, and start, implementing things in your life that only serve your life's highest purpose. Here's the thing. If you don't know what your life's highest purpose is, start with becoming the best version of you. That should be your purpose in that moment.
I like that a lot. I was doing a little bit of reading today, and they were saying if you only have 2 years left to live, what would you do? You know, like you think about it, you only get 2 years left to live. I mean, that's what your purpose is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're thinking of right there, like, oh, I want to go adventure, I want to go see this out there, or I want to start a podcast, or I want to make music. You're going to be doing that to let yourself out there in this world and be creative.
Yeah. Yeah. The one of the biggest challenges is that we live like we're immortal. Like, there's always tomorrow. The reality is that you don't know if there's tomorrow or not. You don't.
So
So
true.
yeah, that's great perspective, man.
Yeah, I
What was
mean, I
that?
like to say, do today because you do not know what tomorrow will bring. That's a quote from my dad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Now,
kind of
go
similar
for it.
to why, kind of similar to why put off to tomorrow what you can accomplish today. This is something that I say a lot too. So yeah, that's awesome.
I like that a lot. So, if a man only has about 15 minutes in a day to improve himself, what should he spend that time on?
15 minutes, man. Do some push-ups. Just face the floor. Do some daggone push-ups. If you're not working out and if you're not working out, if you're not doing anything else to better yourself, if you've only got 15 minutes, movement creates improvement. Get down and do something. Put your body in a position where you can move, because that right there alone is it's going to put you in a higher frequency because you are doing something that is bettering yourself. You're moving. You're getting all these chemicals to start um, firing in your brain. That right there alone, 15 minutes of that, boom. And then what's going to happen is that your brain is going to start getting real creative. You're going to start to think of ways to free up more.
No, that's such a smart way to use your time. I mean, every minute really makes a difference,
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah, and and what I just mentioned, when you're going to start to get real creative. I don't know if I'm the only person that's like this. I would assume that I'm not. But when I am working out, if I'm in a position where I am either running, walking, or lifting weights or doing something that is physical, I my brain is going to work. I'm starting to think of all these things. I get real creative. That's why when you see most of my reels, I'm usually in my car. I'm just either leaving the gym or I'm heading to the gym. That's when I'm most creative. That's when I think of all my stuff. I don't sit down and come up with all this month's worth of content and then I just post it. No, I just thought of this. I'm gonna post it. So is that the right thing to do? I don't know. I really don't care. But that's when I'm most creative, and that's where I come up with all of my ideas.
No, it's great content and inspires me all the time whenever I see it. I mean, it's you're doing remarkable work. Can I ask you, like, what's one thing that people don't understand about men's coaching?
Oh man, what they don't understand about men's sports. You're gonna meet all people from all walks of life, and you have to be able to talk to them in a way. You can't talk to everybody the same exact way. You can't have a cookie cutter approach, right? You got to be able to meet that individual where figuring out what they're struggling with the most in their life and then formulating a program or a plan that's going to best serve their needs. Not coming up with some plan that is for everybody. Does it make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. It's a great
Yeah, I
point.
mean, yeah, you can't talk to everybody the same exact way. There's some guys that I can coach that I can talk to them one way, and there's other guys that I don't talk to them the same exact way. You know, it's just been dealing with people.
Yeah, and you've been through a lot through your journey, so it helps, you can help, guide them through whatever they're going through.
Yeah.
I mean, what does a typical coaching session look like?
Usually my coaching session, they get up to about an hour with me. Sometimes it's 45 minutes. Sometimes it takes the full hour. But basically, we're going over wins that they've had over the past week, the biggest challenges that they're facing, that they're struggling with. About asking questions, figuring out what's going on in their life, and being able to help them overcome those challenges. And I tell everybody, coaching is like having a roadmap. So I'm the map or the GPS, so to speak, but they've got to drive the car. Like I can't drive the car for them. I can guide them. I can help them go around detours and roadblocks and all of these things. That's why asking questions and things of that nature are key and important. But they're the ones who have to have their foot on the gas, their hands on the steering wheel, steering the car. I'll be in the passenger seat. I'll be guiding them. But if they don't do the work, then ain't nothing going to work. And typically those sessions, each session, they're getting an extreme amount of value out of each one of those sessions. And if one of their major vices is pornography, that's what we hone in on. That's what we focus in on. Fitness is definitely a foundation for all of the sessions, but depending on what they're struggling with or their biggest challenge is in that session, that's what we're discussing. That's what we're talking.
That's incredible. I mean, what has been the most rewarding transformation you've ever seen in one of your clients?
One of my clients, Lewis, who works for Department of Transportation. He came to me who was struggling. He's in his 50s. Came to me struggling with a pornography addiction, a sugar addiction. Wanted to get in better shape. Wanted to boost his confidence. And I've had multiple people like Lewis, but he's one of them who really sticks out because the reason he sticks out is he brought everything he had to every single coaching session. Right? There's certain coaching clients that you absolutely love, like you look forward to getting on the coaching call with them. And then there's some who they might not put in as much effort. Maybe they don't carry the conversation as well during the call. It's kind of like pulling teeth trying to have a conversation with them. You might not look forward to those as much, So you got ones that it might stress you out a little bit. And there's those that you really, really look forward to. And Lewis was one of those guys. Completely removed pornography from his life. Completely removed sugar. Got in the best daggone shape of his life. He actually wanted to gain weight, put on muscle. He gained about 23 pounds of muscle. Got a heck of a lot stronger. His bench significantly went up. And his confidence shot through the roof. And his relationship started to flourish because of removing pornography, because of elevating his confidence, and just completely transforming himself. And I was with he was a client of mine for I think we spent 16 weeks together.
It must be so fulfilling, to witness something with so many changes in someone.
Yeah, that's why I make the requirement of having those three key ingredients: the coachability, accountability, and the willingness to win, because it it does nobody any good. Doesn't do you any good. Doesn't do me any good if you don't bring those three qualities to the table. Because if you're not getting results, then that makes you feel like crap, and it doesn't look good for me. So right. So I want clients who are going to win, and I can't force you to win. So I make sure I'm very selective with the people that I work with.
Yeah, with that being said, I mean, what challenges do you face as a coach?
Uh, I mean, starting out early on, imposter syndrome was huge, right? Who am I? And that creeps in every now and then still. Like, who am I to, because I've coached CEOs. And when you're coaching somebody that, top performers, or they are, heads of companies and stuff like that, you're like, who am I to coach this guy? Or who am I to teach this guy something? Well, the reality is that I'm the one who holds all the value. I'm the one who can help you completely transform your life with what you're looking to transform. So I think imposter syndrome is one of the biggest things.
No, like overcoming challenges is really really cool. I mean, like that you got to put yourself in situations you don't feel comfortable in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's how you build your confidence too as a coach. I mean, you can you can want to do something and think about it all day long, but until you dive into it and you start doing it, then you're just going to be wishing and hoping. Like when it comes, I didn't know anything about starting a business when I first started coaching, or when I wanted to start coaching. That I didn't know anything about any of that, but it was the discipline and the consistency and all of these habits that I instilled in myself that gave me that confidence to dive right in when I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how I was going to get started. It was like ready, fire, aim, right? Rather than aim, fire. So it's like I'm going to make mistakes, but I might as well learn as I'm making those mistakes. And it can be scary at first. It really can. But once you get in there and you really start doing it, then you start to build those muscles, so to speak, those reflexes and confidence.
No, I like that a lot. Why do you think men often struggle to ask for help when it comes to personal growth?
I think pride's a huge thing, and also fear of being judged. Because we want to seem like we've got it together, right? Even when we don't. Like we'll wear this mask. Like we've got it all together. We figured it out. And the reality is we're all just still trying to figure things out.
No,
Right?
yeah, that's such an important issue to address.
Yeah. So I mean, if there's one thing that I can tell guys, it's okay to ask for help. Just make sure you're asking the right people for help. Make sure that you have that circle, so to speak. And you don't need a whole lot of brothers in your life. If you've got one good quality person that you can rely on, that you can count on, and you reach out to them, I promise you, if they are a good person, they're not going to judge you. They're going to be there for you. If he's a good brother. And when I say brother, I don't mean like blood brother. I mean like, one of your homies, one of your friends, like somebody you would go to war with. That's the type of person. Somebody who's got your back, you got their back, no matter what. Men need more of that in their life.
I agree with that completely, and I believe that everyone has a struggle or they're going through something. Everyone's going through something in their life. Everyone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's important. It's important to reach out when you're not at your best or you're not okay. I mean, there was times where I had to reach out to my business partner, right, if I was going through something. Maybe it was something with a relationship or something like that, right? I'd reach out to him and be like, hey man, I got this going on. Like, all right, you are gonna get through it. You need help with anything, you let me know. I'm here for you. It's not complaining or anything like that, but what's the solution we're gonna come up with? All right, go get in a workout. All right, get in a workout. I feel better now. Go kick your rear end in the gym. A lot of times that'll do it for you. Go kick your rear end in the gym with one of your brothers and have that conversation while you're working out, or just release all that stress, all that energy in the gym with one of your brothers. And majority of the time, if you need to talk about it, you can talk about it afterwards. But if not, you'll be good for a little while. But yeah, it's important to have those people in life.
No, so true. I mean, if you're looking for a brotherhood, they should look you up. You'll be in the description down below. And I mean, how do you help men develop better habits and routines for long-term success?
Well, my partner and I, we have a simple 4-step process that we were able to develop, and our coaching program is more of a hybrid style coaching program where we offer one-on-one plus group coaching, and also go at your own with certain modules where that 4-step process and homework and all of that stuff. So yeah, that's the main difference between our coaching style and a lot of the other coaching programs out there. Because what I found out is that one-on-one coaching is great, but if we can kind of put that with group coaching where we have a brotherhood where men can have that support system and they can reach out to each other if they need help, and they're there to level each other up, right? There might be some competition in there, and it's not competition in a negative way. It's competition to lift everybody up because rising tide lifts all ships, right? And if this guy's winning, if Kevin over here is winning, then that's going to inspire Will to want to win. It's not that, oh, well, I'm jealous of you type nonsense. We don't allow that type of garbage in there. And that's why you got to be very careful on the type of people that you bring in and not bring in some sort of like cancer because that type of stuff can spread. But yeah, that's one of the key fundamentals to having a good group of guys. And we don't want like huge or anything like that. We try to keep it tight, so to speak.
No, I like that perspective. I mean, building strong habits, it really does change lives.
Yeah.
I got to ask you this one because I mean, you said I'm gonna go into the spiritual side of things. I mean, do you think having a spiritual side is important for men to grow?
I think it's extremely important. And if you would have asked me this probably less than 10 years ago, I probably would have said no. But I'm a firm believer that to deny the existence or to deny a higher power or to deny God is to deny the self. That higher power, consciousness, God is within us, right? And if you can tap into that, then you have power beyond your imagination.
Yeah, I love that. Just know thyself.
Know thyself, absolutely. And I pray every single day. I never used to pray, but I've started to pray every single day. And the prayer that I say every single day is different, and I post it on my story every single day. The prayer that I say, and typically it's praying for courage, praying for to be a good character, praying for other people, stuff like that. Right, serving something that serves my higher purpose.
Yeah, it's something that we don't hear talked about enough.
I think a lot of people are either embarrassed by it or they kind of shy away from it just because of stigma. That I'm not talking about like religion or anything like that. I'm just talking about having um, more spiritual side to yourself, because all of that interconnects with everything in your life. Because gratitude for one. I'm a firm believer that if you are truly grateful for this life, for the things that you have, you will act in accordance with that. And a lot of people say they're grateful for their health. They're grateful for being alive today. But if you're grateful for your health, then your body would reflect that. If you're grateful for this body, your body would reflect that. If you're grateful for waking up today, then you would have woke up when your alarm clock went off. You would have been excited to face the day. Right? You may have been tired, but you're still going to get up because you have purpose. You have a mission. Right? You want to serve his highest purpose. or what he has trusted you with, he's blessed you with, might be to go out there and share the methods that I'm sharing today, right? Like
No,
how
that's
can I,
such a game changer.
yeah, like how can I serve what he's put me here for in the
Yeah, I
best
mean,
way that I can?
overcoming the fear is a huge part of growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I got to ask you this one. I mean, what role does accountability play in the men that you guide?
Accountability is huge. Most men, they can't be accountable to themselves. So being accountable to another individual, coach, other guys in the group, what habits they have, their wins, their challenges that they're going through. If they were strict with their meal plan this week, or were they loosey goosey with it, right? Did you fall off when it came to scrolling on your phone, or uh, watching porn, or having a drink, or whatever it might be? You got to be accountable to somebody. And most men, they're not going to be accountable to themselves. They would like to
No,
think that they are. They would
yeah,
like to
it's
think
so
that they are.
true.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true. I mean, having someone to be accountable to make, all the difficult decisions is like you're putting yourself and you got to know thyself. It's you. It's your life you're living.
Absolutely. And then you also got to reflect too. You got to reflect on, because we will go through life and we will have all of these wins, and then we'll get to a point where we might feel like we're not doing as good, or we're feeling bad about ourselves in some capacity. And then once you start to reflect on where you were a couple years ago and where you are now, that might be a significant difference for the better. So it's important to reflect on that too, because if you don't, then you can start to really get down on yourself and feel like you're not making progress. But if you look back, you'll notice that you made a tremendous amount of progress. It was just those little inches every single day that added up to that huge mile.
Yeah, stacking those small wins on top of each other.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people fail to see that, so they got to be reminded.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, how do you define success when working with a client?
Obviously, success is going to be in the result. Like if you're not getting results, and that's going to inspire them. That's going to motivate them too. So their motivation does play in there, because when you see yourself getting results, you feel successful. You feel motivated now. So it's helping them to get those results in a short amount of time, and stacking those wins is what's really going to help with that. So and success is different to everybody. So I mean, some people, they might want to get the six pack. They might want to get in the best of their life. Excuse me. Or they might want to remove a vice from their life, right? They might not. Yeah, I don't need to have that extremely chiseled physique and look like that. And it'll be nice. Yeah, I mean, why not aim for that, right? You should look good, but removing a vice might be the reason they reached out. They might want to remove something from their life, but if we can help them get success with that, which they got to drive the vehicle. But if we can help them get success with that, then they're going to feel like they were.
Yeah, that's such a great way to frame it. I mean, success really does look different for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, confidence too. Building that confidence in themselves. So when somebody's got all those things working synergistically, they're getting the results, they're chipping the things away from the life, they're getting in great shape, they're building their confidence, they're feeling successful, they're feeling motivated, all of these things, and they're getting disciplined and they're staying consistent. Then once you got all those things working synergistically, then they have no choice but to feel like they're making progress. But it's not easy.
No, that's a great
Tough.
point.
It's tough. It's a tough road. You know, but once you make things non-negotiable and you let go of certain things, then you're gonna look back at it. It's almost as if it was happening seamlessly. Yeah, you went through a lot of challenges, along the way, but you're going to look back and you'll be like, damn, that's amazing. It's almost like, it feels like it was seamless. It didn't, there wasn't any struggle. At least that's the way that I felt when I went through that entire process. And a lot of the clients that I work with, that's how their experience.
Yeah, everyone wants the view, but they don't want to make the climb.
I love that. Yeah.
What's your approach for helping men avoid burnout?
Most men will never, ever get there. Most men will never experience that because I mean, if you're asking about burnout, you're not even taking the first step to transform your life. So burnout shouldn't even be on your mind. If you're thinking about burnout, you came to the wrong place. All right, let's cross that bridge when we get there. But burnout, you're not going to get burnt out. Like what kind of burnout are we talking about? Burnout from exercise, burnout from the gym, burnout from just being too consistent? That's much crap. Now, I personally, I have put that to the test, and if you combine a whole lot of things together, like lack of sleep, going to the gym every single day, really going in on yourself, excessive amounts of caffeine, getting dehydrated because you're not taking electrolytes and you're drinking too much water and too much caffeine, and you got all of these things working against you, lack of sleep, stress, cortisol, all of that, then yeah, you can get burnt out. You can overtrain because you are doing everything that you can to put your body in a stressed out situation. I've done that to myself, so that's not fun. That's not
No,
fun.
yeah, finding balance is a key.
Yeah, balance in a way, but really, what is balance? Right? I mean, balance with like certain types of habits. Yeah, but when it comes to transforming your life, you're going to have certain areas of your life where you're going to have absolutely no balance whatsoever, right? And you're gonna try and think of ways to balance certain things out, but let's say it's on a scale right here. There's going to be times where that scale looks like this, or that scale looks like this. So, yeah, balance is that's a whole nother thing.
No, it's clear that you practice what you preach. If you could go back to your younger self and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Before you allow anybody into your life, before you get married, figure out who you want to be and work on becoming that man. Work on becoming the absolute best version of yourself every single day. Don't worry about what anybody else tells you. Don't worry about what anybody says, because if they're not who you want to be or where you want to be, don't listen to them and go be your best self. But figure out what that looks like first. And don't get married until you have all of that together.
No, that's such a great reflection.
Yeah, because
Um,
I've thought about that in the past, and I was like, man, I wish somebody would have had that conversation with me, and maybe my father did have that conversation with me, but I was just too much of a knucklehead to remember the conversation or even listen to it. But yeah, I would have told myself
no, it seems like you have a reason for saying that, which is cool.
that.
Um, I know you're really educated on your topic, and do you have any books or mentors or anything that anyone could listen to that would be impactful for them?
So there's one book that I would highly recommend. Actually, there's two books that I would highly recommend. The first one is The Way of the Superior Man by David Dita. And the second book is more on the spiritual side, consciousness, um, Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins. Power versus Force is one of those books that you got to be ready for it. If you're not ready for it, you might not understand it too much. But I could be wrong. But I highly recommend those two.
No, thank you for sharing. I mean, what's your vision for your work in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, um, me and Eric, my business partner, have our coaching business at a place where we can virtually do what we want when we want, and just help as many men as we possibly can um, become their best self. Help them become fit, fearless, free, and fulfilled. And not only that, but just maintain our good character, never break that, and keep being the best example that we can possibly be. Really, I think that's what it boils down to. Maintaining our good character and being the best example that we can be. If we do that, everything else is going to fall into place. Not willing to sacrifice our character for anything.
Yeah, it's clear that you're making big impacts now and in the future.
Yeah, that's the goal. Absolutely. Just want to reach down and be able to lift people up to a higher level.
Yeah, what's one of the most unexpected transformations you've seen
In a client,
in a client or even in yourself?
I gotta say, man, I 5 years ago, I never would have seen myself doing what I'm doing right now. Coaching men, having a podcast, um, being of influence to multiple people looking up to I. And when I think about that, it's like, yeah, I don't want to call myself an influencer because I don't want to call myself an influencer or anything like that. I don't think I'm like a social media influencer. I just want to share what's worked for me and help others become a better version of themselves. That's the only reason I do what I do, because I think that if you have something that is shareable, that you can help other people with, that has helped you in some capacity, you could be sharing that with other people, and it would be selfish not to share that. So yeah, I don't like calling myself an influencer. So
Well, I mean, I enjoy your content that you share every day. I don't know why you don't want to call yourself an influencer. I know you said it, but you're making a difference in a lot of people's lives, and I really do appreciate what you're doing. I mean,
yeah,
what's
I
something
appreciate that.
small? What's like a small habit that you think every man should adopt?
Small habit that every man should adopt: make your bed every single day. That habit alone can transform your life, because it's just that one little discipline that will translate into every other area of your life. And plus, when you come home at night and you get into a freshly made bed, there's just something about that gives you a sense of pride, and sleep just a little bit better. So yeah, do something every single day that is consistent, that is going to benefit you, and then start stacking those.
Exactly what I was thinking. Is just keep on stacking those wins. I mean, that's such a simple but yet impactful advice.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you need to write them down, so what are my wins that I'm going to stack? Write them down and check them off every single day, because that's what I had to do when I first started. When I first started that whole journey of changing my life, I had to write every single thing down that was a part of that I wanted to be a part of my morning routine, that I knew was going to help make me a better version of myself. And I'd check off the little box. Okay, done. I didn't put it on my phone or any of that stuff. I just used a composition notebook, wrote it down, checked it off every single day until it became reflexive, until it became habitual.
No, that's such a powerful statement. Where can the listeners connect with you and follow your journey?
At Chris Automatic, ChrisOttoMatic. They can on Instagram, and they can follow same on TikTok. I just recently got back to posting on TikTok, but I might stop posting on TikTok. Just that platform's kind of changed over the years. But
Chris,
they can also find us, myself and my business partner Eric, our podcast According to Men. That's on Spotify. We're actually just starting to post it up on YouTube, and all other major podcast platforms.
very nice. You have anyone you want to shout out?
Nah, I don't do any shout outs.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was awesome hearing about your story and learning all about how you help men become their best selves. I mean, keep up the great work, and you're making a big difference. I mean, I wish you all the best, and I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what's next for you.
Yeah, Matty, I appreciate you having me on here, man. It's been an enjoyable conversation, and I'm looking forward to see some big things from you, brother.
I appreciate that. And to the listeners, thank you for tuning in. This is Every Day is Friday. Until next time. Single day. Baby.